There's a legitimate crisis happening at our southern border. You've known about it for a while, but it's gotten far worse. I've got 7 reasons that what is happening at the border is absolutely devastating and probably going past a point of critical mass right now that is irreparable to our republic. This video is sponsored by Aura and Pacha. Pacha is my guardian llama, and while he's really good at protecting against things like possums, he has virtually no skills at identity theft protection. It's the lack of opposable thumb. He can't keep my information off the dark web like Aura can. He can't provide me antivirus protection, password management, or fraud monitoring. Also, Pacha here can't opt me out of data brokers selling all my information on the dark web. I was extremely upset to find out that my information was on the dark web, and Aura took care of me. Therefore, Pacha and I think that you should visit aura.com/WPS. You get 2 weeks free to check it out. I use it, my wife uses it. Pacha, if had opposable thumbs, he would use it. Check it out, aura.com/WPS. All right. So I mentioned 7 devastating effects that are playing out at the border. What it's doing, what it's signaling. The very first one is quite obvious. Our southern border is unsecure, and as a result, the drug cartels have taken over. What that means, the drug cartels taking over, it means human trafficking, it means dead bodies, it means fentanyl coming over the border en masse, killing hundreds of thousands of Americans. That's not an exaggeration. There's been recent seizures where one seizure, they found enough fentanyl to kill every single American. Never in any other presidency until Joe Biden have we faced such a conflict over something that'd be so pathetically easy to enforce. So point number 1, drug cartels are really running the southern border. We're not, we've given it up. Point number 2 is we have no idea who else is crossing the border. Some of these folks who aren't just calling asylum and being escorted cleanly across the border for a catch and release, those who are slipping past and don't want anyone to stop them, you say, well, it'd be a lot easier if you just called asylum. But a lot of folks are not doing that. Why not? Well, they don't want to be documented. They don't want to be caught and then released. And it is a very safe assumption. These are more nefarious actors.
And you make a really interesting distinction there, John. What I hear you saying is that there are 2 groups of people who are crossing the border. There are the people who want to be in the custody of Border Patrol to get processed or put through. But you're saying that there's another group that are looking to evade all Border Patrol,
right,
and just simply disappear into the interior of the country.
So far, we have cartels, we have terrorists. These are the devastating stuff. Another thing is what this means for future voting in the United States. And I think this is the key reason the Biden administration is have stand-down orders for our CBP, the federal agents who are supposed to be guarding the border, and instead are just acting like door holders. I was just in Vegas, and I sat down with a few CBP agents. One of them I used to train with a good bit. He was a bud from back in the day. I'm like, man, how's the morale in CBP? It's like, bro, it's worse than you can imagine. It's terrible. Because right now, if you're CBP, what are you doing if you're not protecting the border? And I'm like, man, just holding the door. I'm like, oh, so you're greeters now? He's like, yep, we're just greeters. They set a future court date and then release them into the interior of the United States. The goal of the Democratic Party is to secure elections for the Democratic Party for the next generation or more. Currently, by some estimates, which I believe are highly conservative, we have about 22 million illegals in the United States right now. So if you can bring in all these illegals that historically are going to vote Democrat and have already been loaded with, hey, Biden will let you in, he'll give you citizenship, he'll give you money, he'll give you health care, he'll give all this stuff, just vote Democrat. You could utterly change the foundational fabric of our nation so that you could essentially lock the Republican Party out of winning future elections. You could do all kinds of stuff.
I mean, they have a soft affiliation with socialism. They are saturated in socialism. When you say kicking or ending Republican majority, I see that as ending constitutional authority. The Constitution is a foreign document to them. Yeah. The thing that they have bathed in is usually authoritarian governments and that promise socialistic things.
I think they're struggling to survive. They're fleeing where they're at, right? Trying to survive somewhere else, and they're going to vote with whoever gives them the greatest chance of survival. All of a sudden, I'm looking at the border as this is a much, much bigger deal than I gave it credit for, and we're still pressing in to some even more alarming points if this stuff wasn't bad enough. Here's something a little bit more philosophical. If you don't have a border, you don't really have a nation anymore. I've said this in a past episode. I wonder if the end date on America has already passed, according to future historians. A house has to have walls. If the house doesn't have walls, it's not a house anymore. A nation must have borders. If you don't have borders, you're not a nation anymore. If you don't have a border, you're not a nation. If you pick up your old founding, your Constitution, and no longer follow that, if you have laws, but none of them are enforced, you become lawless. Again, you don't have a nation, you don't have a nation, you don't have a nation. It's as if drug cartels and terrorists aren't bad enough. We have to grapple with that existential question of, can we even say we really exist as a nation anymore? That's how alarming all this is in what it signals. Now, we come to the next point. Point number 5. We have Texas and the federal government now in a complete stalemate. Federal government is saying, open your border. Governor Abbott has instead decided to enforce his own border to protect Texas residents from all the violence and from what he would classify as the invasion of illegals that are coming across, of drug cartels, of a whole host of different criminality. It says it's the federal government's job to be able to protect her borders, but you're not doing it. And though he's reached out to the Biden administration saying secure the border over and over and over, he does have legal recourse to be able to defend his state if the federal government refuses to. You can see how ultimately this disagreement could lead to actual physical force. Now, to make the powder keg a little spicier, 25 states have backed Texas. And think about what backing Texas means. It means, hey, we're with you, Texas, against Joe Biden's administration. I mean, is the Biden administration going to send troops down to the southern border to force its way open? Because Governor Abbott is absolutely closing the border, and he's enforcing that border more and more each day. We've got 5 devastating points, all that have to do with the border. Here's a 6th one. The mainstream media is not reporting on any of this.
How could they not be saying anything about this?
Check out, let's go to CNN right now. What's CNN doing? Nothing about border anything.
You got to be kidding me.
Princess of Wales returns home after surgery. Why boomers are not moving out of their big homes. Here is Fox News. All right, here's Iran. That's important. Good. Reparations. Right there. Reparations task force. Let's talk about reparations.
I mean, guys, read the room.
Oh, and here, nope. Will Taylor Swift attend the Super Bowl? Her concert tour schedule makes it tough. Guys, pray for Taylor Swift. Nothing about the border. No, electric buses sitting unused despite taxpayers.
And this is Fox.
Dropping billions.
This is on Fox?
This is Fox.
This is why Tucker had to leave.
Yeah. Why are the major news networks not reporting on this issue? Is it that Americans aren't interested in it? I'm like, no, I dare say right now, this week, this is all Americans are really talking about. It's not because it's not newsworthy. It's not because it's not important. It's not because it wouldn't make them a bucket load of money. There's only one sane reason I can think of why the media agencies are not reporting on it. And that's because their handlers, whether that's Big Brother or Big Globalist, or maybe those are the same things now, have given them a gag order to not report on this. And I think they salute their puppet masters and don't cover what they should be, which leaves only outlets like this and outlets like us that will talk about the most important stuff. It brings me to the final point, the 7th point. The point of all this is to destroy the country. That's what it is. Because no one in their right mind who loved America and wanted to protect America would come up with the policies that the Biden administration is enacting. No one is so bad at economics that they would do this to the benefit of the United States. So all of this happening should send a warning bell to you and I that we need to have our ducks in order. Guys, I want you to jump in the comments and say, what would it look like for us to prepare for what is coming ahead? Where do we go from here? Bravo, Governor Abbott, for your civil disobedience. You're playing the part of a great patriot in defying tyranny. So way to go. That's awesome. I hope courage spreads. The courage of one man needs to spread to be the courage of the many.